Today on Judge Faith, a disco diva is forced to stop dancing, and now she's come to court to collect for her canceled performances.
She was chasing him, throwing the shoes, running up and down the block, chasing him.
I was intoxicated, you know what I'm saying? I was intoxicated.
She stepped on my foot.
I don't even remember seeing Miss Douglas.
You were irate, you were drunk, so if you stepped on her foot, you might not know. You might not remember.
And later, she crashed a car into his prized BMW, and he wants her to cover the cost to put him back on the road.
Her insurance company told me that there were multiple parties involved, that she had a limit to the amount of insurance that she was insured for.
I'm not denying that he's owed money, but how much is in question?
So based on the police report, you are liable for this accident. You are the cause of this accident and the cause of the damages to his car. So now the issue is how much you owe.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Carol Douglas says the defendant stopped on her foot, causing her to cancel 2 performances. She's suing for lost revenue. Defendant Monique DeClue says she owes nothing because the plaintiff put herself in harm's way when she attempted to interfere in an argument.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Douglas versus DeClue.
Thank you, Barbara. Carol Douglas?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant Monique DeClue for $6,000 for lost revenue from 2 singing performances. You say you missed because the defendant injured you?
Yes.
I know who you are because I know your song, Doctor's Orders.
All right, thank you.
Great song.
I don't know if everyone's familiar. I'm the First Lady of Disco. I've been singing for 38 years. I'm still performing, still recording. I'm doing an album. I've got several hits, Doctor's Orders, Midnight Love Affair, and I just did a show in Wilmington, Delaware with some of the disco divas.
So tell me what happened here and how you got to court today with this lawsuit.
Well, a few days before the 4th of July, I had some house guests, and I went to the store to get some snacks, and I came back, and Monique was in a consultation with her baby's father, and they were really carrying on, and I just happened to get in the way of her and him. She was throwing her shoes at him, running up and down the street. She didn't intentionally do it, but I was in the way, and she stepped on my foot.
You said in your complaint you were at a recording studio at the time?
Yes, the recording studio in the home, and I'm a house guest there.
So what's going on, Ms. DeClue?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay, well, I work as a stylist in a salon, and I'm also an adult film actress. And my child's father records at the studio that she goes to. He's a singer.
What happened with you specifically?
Well,
how were you
I was
injured?
coming from the store, and I was getting ready to enter the house with the packages that I had in my hand. And she really was in a rage, and she accidentally stepped on my foot. Well, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but that's how I got cellulitis, the doctor says, and a sprained foot.
Were you in pain immediately and went to the doctor?
Yes, I did. I tried to soak it for a few days, and I said, no, it's not going to happen. It kept swelling, and I went to the doctor.
Did the 2 of you know each other prior to this incident?
I met Miss Douglas, yes. Maybe 2 times
just
at
2
the
times.
home.
Okay.
You know, but, right, so basically, we just filmed a music video earlier that day. You know, we pulled up in
You were
front
in
of
a
my...
music video too?
Yes, I was I was like the main girl in the music video for his video. So basically, he said something smart about what women do, and I threw a bottle in the back of the car, and he got upset. So this is where everybody's like, oh, they're about to start their stuff now. So you know, I had just had a baby. I just gave birth like maybe 3 months before that. So I guess I was going through a little postpartum depression and stuff, and I was upset. You know, so we pull up in front of my home, and he's like, okay, I'm coming inside. When I look outside, my baby father is not outside. And he never came inside the house. So you know, I knew exactly where he went. He went to the studio to probably get drunk, whatever they do. No, I hopped in a cab. I go over to their house now. So I go inside and I said, can you step outside for a second? And what does he do? We're talking, and he's like, oh, I'm tired of you doing this. I'm tired of you doing that. And he was like, I don't even want to be with you no more. I said, oh, since you don't want to be with me.
Did you step on Miss Douglas's foot? That's what we need to know.
Did I say, well, I don't even remember seeing Miss Douglas.
Well, what happened? Because in your answer, you said that she was there.
She obviously was there. I was intoxicated. You know what I'm saying? I was intoxicated. I'm standing on the front step. At this point, he had already ran off. You know, I'm standing at the front step. I don't remember her having any groceries. Did you drop the groceries? You know, she's saying that I weigh so much that I hurt her that badly. Like, how can I hurt you that badly? At this point, I didn't even have shoes on. My shoes were off because I'm running with no shoes on. I was irate. Okay, so
you were irate, you were drunk, so if you stepped on her foot, you might not know. You might not remember.
She was chasing him, throwing the shoes, running up and down the block, chasing him. When she went to lunge for him, her whole body weight went on my left foot.
Right.
Okay, and then I had to be helped up the stairs.
Do you have proof that you went to the doctor
yes,
right
I do.
after that?
I have all this stuff here.
Coming up on Judge Faith, Carol reveals the injury that nearly ended her career. And Monique gets schooled on the hippest trip in America.
I don't remember if they were heels or what kind of shoes they were, because if that hadn't went through my foot, forget it. I would even be standing here right now.
How big do I have to be? Like, she's not a lightweight. That sounds like she just being dirty to me.
Ma'am, she was on Soul Train, and you respect, when somebody's on Soul Train, you gotta respect that.
And later, is he soaking her for money? Or is she trying to put him in the poorhouse?
And I don't know that I've got a course of action against her insurance company.
That was not the side you portrayed over the phone. This is all an act. I'm not falling for it.
He has every right to go after every penny he's owed. That's what happens when you're the cause of a collision that causes another car to hit 3 parked cars.
Plaintiff Carol Douglas says she was unable to perform her show because Monique stomped on her foot during a fit of rage. She's suing for lost revenue. Defendant Monique DeClue says she owes nothing because Carol put herself in harm's way when she interfered during an argument Monique was having with her baby daddy.
And you say as a result of you being injured, you missed 2 singing performances.
Yeah, I had bookings for July and August, and I was unable to perform.
What was the date of this incident? July
2nd is when I was injured.
And you were in the emergency room on July 5th.
Yes.
Let me see the photos of the injuries.
I was trying to take care of my foot myself.
What did the doctor diagnose you with?
Sprained foot and cellulitis. So when you have no shoes on, you're running up and down the street, you know, but there's feces, there's all kind of things in the street. The doctor said you had to be, because usually when people get cellulitis, sometimes it's a cut. You know,
it's a bacteria issue.
Yeah, bacteria. So by her not having any shoes, chasing him up and down the street, yelling and screaming at him,
why do you have shoes
lunged. When
because
she
I run
lunged
faster with no shoes. Everyone runs faster with no shoes.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. And thank God the shoes. I don't know if I don't remember if they were heels or what kind of shoes they were, because if that hadn't went through my foot, forget it. I would even be standing here right now.
So as a result of this, you say you missed 2 bookings.
Yes, I did.
In the month of July.
Yes, I did.
Do you have proof of? I see you providing me with copies of 2 contracts.
How big do I have to be? Like, she's not a lightweight, you know what I mean? But that sounds like she just being dirty to me. That's what that sounds like.
Ma'am, she was on Soul Train, and you respect, when somebody's on Soul Train, you gotta respect that. You understand? Don't sleep on Soul Train in the 70s. Don't sleep on Soul Train is all I'm saying. That's some of the best television they ever made. Okay, so here's what I have here. We have 2 contracts, both for the month of July. One of them dated July 4th, and the other one dated July 29th. The one on July 4th, I can definitely understand why you missed that one. That was the day before you went to the doctor, and your foot was in pretty bad condition from what I can see from the photo. The one on July 29th, I'm a little hesitant about that one because that's over 3 weeks later, and you know, sometimes I've seen Patti LaBelle, other people, they've had to come out and they've had to sit on a bar stool, but they're on that bar stool and they sing, and people come out, they don't care that you're not able to dance around the stage because they just want to see you. So what I'm going to do, in fairness, you sued for $6,000. You know the statutory maximum in my courtroom is $5,000. I'm going to order the defendant to pay you half of the amount that you sued for. I think that at a minimum, that's what she owes you. Judgment in this case for the plaintiff, $3,000.
Thank you very much.
Plaintiff Jeffrey Mendez says the defendant caused an accident that damaged his parked, prized BMW. He's suing for car damage. Defendant Pune Purushani admits she caused the accident that damaged the defendant's BMW, but claims he's overcharging for repairs. She says her insurance company is responsible for paying the defendant.
Jeffrey Mendez.
Yes.
You're suing Pune Purushani
Correct?
for $1,600 for damages to your car you say she caused in a car accident?
That's correct.
Okay, we'll start with you. Tell me what's going on here.
The defendant caused an accident which caused a car to hit the rear of my car, which caused damage to my vehicle.
Now, where was your car at the time?
My car was legally parked at a parking meter.
It's a more complicated circumstance that led to his car getting hit as well. It wasn't a direct accident towards his car, but it led to that. My car pushed the main driver to go to the left side of Fairfax, and on the same token hit the two parked cars, one of which was Mr. Mendez's parked car.
Okay, and where were you at the time, sir?
I was working on a construction site. We heard ambulances, and so we came and looked at see what was happening.
You and other coworkers?
Yeah.
And had you parked your car on the street?
My car was parked on the street, yeah, absolutely. We went down to see what was happening. There were 4 cars involved. The ambulances were there. There were injuries. Again, my car was parked. It was the 4th car in a chain reaction. All I want is for my car to be fixed.
Okay, and is that the damage caused from the accident?
Yes.
Where are the damages exactly?
So
it looks like a piece of the bumper is missing.
Right, so I believe you might have a close-up of that damage. The damage is to the exterior bumper. It's also to the metal that supports it behind it.
Did the police respond?
Oh, no, absolutely. By the time I got there, the police were there and the ambulances were there. I have a copy of the police report.
Okay, how did you get a copy of it? May I see it, please?
Yeah, sure.
Would you hand it to my bailiff?
I called the sheriff's department and asked for a copy. And you'll see, I think it's on the last page, it determines liability. It clearly says that she's 100% at fault.
Nobody's disputing that. I'm not denying that he's owed money, but how much is in question?
Okay, so the police decided after investigating the accident that you were the cause of the collision. They said that you entered through a highway from a stop sign and failed to yield, and you hit another car, causing that car to lose control of their vehicle and slam into the cars that were parked on the street. There are 2 issues in this case. One is liability, one is damages. So based on the police report, you are liable for this accident. You are the cause of this accident and the cause of the damages to his car. So now the issue is how much you owe. Do you have the estimates as to how much it will cost to get your car repaired, sir?
I have 3 estimates, yes.
May I see those 3 estimates? Do you have insurance on your car?
I do have insurance on my car, but not for third-party damage.
Your Honor, I have to...
Did you contact her insurance company?
I did.
Okay, and what happened when you contacted her insurance company?
Her insurance company sent me an estimate, which I think you've got there, for $1,100. On their estimate, they also indicate that the car will be in repairs for 3 or 4 days. Her insurance company told me that there were multiple parties involved, that she had a limit to the amount of insurance that she was insured for, and that they could not settle any claims until all claimants' claims were finalized and everybody had agreed.
Coming up on Judge Faith, how far did he go to get his Beamer back?
My phone call was far from threatening.
That's not true. You're a liar. No, I'm
exactly
saying he harassed me. He called me twice, and he was vulgar and
You know what? Let me
abusive.
tell you something. Every time somebody comes in here to court and they owe money, and when someone's trying to call them to get money, it's always, they're harassing me. Let's get past the fact that you say he harassed you, and let's get to how much you owe.
Plaintiff Jeffrey Mendez says repairing his prized BMW will cost more than the defendant's insurance company is willing to pay. He's suing for car damage. Defendant Pune Purushani admits the accident is her fault, but claims the defendant is trying to squeeze her for money.
Okay, what do you have to say?
2 things. One, he made 2 phone calls to me, abusive and vulgar phone calls. First
That's
of all,
not true. That's completely
he
untrue.
called me 2 different times within time frame of 3 weeks, one of which he introduced himself. I said, where did you get my number? He said, from the police report. I said, my insurance company sent you a representation letter initially, which means you have to go through them. You are not to contact me.
Your insurance company gave a repair estimate for the damages to his car in the amount of $1,228.
That includes the 3 day of loss of car usage.
Okay,
That's
yes.
not true.
Okay, but it doesn't say that here. It just says damages, okay? And then but the offer that they're making to him is $819 because there were multiple cars involved in the accident. They're not covering all of the damages for everyone's vehicle. So they have capped what they're going to offer him at $819. So even by the evidence from your insurance company, they're saying they're not covering the full amount of damages that he incurred. Do you understand that? So you understand why someone would call you and ask you to pay for the remainder of the damages? His car was parked. He's not responsible for the damages.
The fact was that he had to, in writing, respond back to my insurance company, because initially this thing was pending through my insurance company. Besides the fact
So is
that
the problem that he contacted you directly? Is that what you have an issue? You're not saying you don't owe this?
No, I'm
exactly
saying
what
he
you're saying.
harassed me. He called me twice, and he was vulgar and
You know what? Let me
abusive.
tell you something. Every time somebody comes in here to court and they owe money, and when someone's trying to call them to get money, it's always they're harassing me.
But
They're stalking me.
No, it's the
They're
way,
getting on my nerves.
It's the nature.
I know it's a phone call you don't want to receive, but let's get past the phone call, okay? Let's get past the fact that you say he harassed you, and let's get to how much you owe. So they're offering you $819. Have you received that?
Absolutely not. I
But
can't
that's the money you're going to receive from the insurance company.
When? There's
Well, I can't answer that.
No,
The insurance
exactly.
company knows.
Exactly.
He
but
also sent me threatening letters.
The accident occurred 10 months ago, and my car's still in the same state. I still haven't received any. Today, I got a letter from their insurance company dated October 1st, which says we're still waiting for the other parties to release all of their damages. There's one person that's got over $10,000 worth of damages that's only getting $6,000. I have to wait until she agrees for that settlement.
Well, listen, I'm not the insurance company. This is the decision that they made, so why don't you sue them to get the $819 if you don't think they're releasing it in a timely manner? Here's the issue. Clearly here there are damages that exceed the $819 that your insurance company offered him, and you're going to pay for those damages that exceed this amount. The question is, how much? So there's an estimate of damages from your insurance company. Where's the estimate from your insurance company?
That's the one that was missing. He never provided to my insurance company.
Well, I
Always
don't think you were going to
referenced it.
pay no matter what he
right
was
here.
providing you, so stop trying to come up with some kind of excuse.
What about the fact that he sent threatening letters and phone calls?
May I see the threatening letters? I'm just curious. Let me see the
I don't
threatening.
have them, but
I've got
There you
copies.
go.
Here you go. I have copies of those letters.
Oh, may I see the letters? I want to see how threatening they are.
Far from threatening.
But your phone call wasn't recorded or written, so
My phone call was far from threatening.
that's not true. You're a liar.
Okay, so let's try to determine which part of this letter is threatening. Miss Parushani, on December 12, 2013, you were the cause of a traffic collision at the intersection of Romaine and Fairfax. Is that threatening? No. I have waited very patiently to receive compensation for the cost to repair my vehicle. Do we have any threats yet?
He sent 3 other letters.
No,
Do you have
ma'am,
the other
ma'am,
ones?
I'm just
Not
asking
so
you.
far.
I'm
Not
just
so
asking you
far.
where the threats are.
Not so far. He had 3 other letters he sent.
I will accept a check from you in the amount of $1,600, which I believe will restore my car to the condition it was in before the accident. Are there any threats there?
Not in this letter,
okay,
Your Honor.
so
There
why
were
don't you
other
stop?
ones.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
Let me explain something to you. You damaged and you hit his car. You were the cause of the accident. He has every right to go after every penny he's owed. If you don't like it, that's tough. It's too bad. That's what happens when you're the cause of a collision that causes another car to hit 3 parked cars. Get over it.
And she happened to be on her cell phone. And I don't know that I've got a course of action to pursue our insurance company for the balance.
That was not the side you portrayed over the phone. This is all an act. I'm not falling for it.
So I'm going with your estimate, the one you provided to the court, $1,600, so that will be the amount it would cost for your car to be repaired. I'm going to subtract the amount that her insurance company is offering you, which is $819.01, and the total judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, $780.99. Verdict for the plaintiff. That's what you owe him.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.